Good morning, everybody.
So I'm not saying they'll skip the countdown. I'm saying like if they come across it live and it's a countdown screen,
they're just.
People are like, next. I'm not waiting.
I'm
not waiting 2 minutes for this. This is
I just ruined our whole audience thing because
I've gotten something else for you. Did you know that 76% of all facts are made up?
I've never heard that before. Is that true?
That one seems made up.
It's true.
I wasn't saying that was a fact. I was saying that's my bias.
That Facebook description that I was
because I'm not
just
waiting 2 minutes for it.
You got to left click on that. Guys,
why are we?
Sometimes I see things and I'm like, man, I wish I was here.
Years ago. I watched Star Wars once.
May the 4th, 2020. Dallas watched Star Wars, and man, that's a great description. And
Dallas has always mocked Star Wars.
So I'm curious because you've never watched it
until then.
That seems about right.
Until
that's
then.
on brand for you.
No. Here was the thing. Are you ready? This is
I'm ready for it.
All of my Star Wars experience.
Did you mock it this year?
Pre-2020. No. Here's what it was. When I was a kid, the only Star Wars I had ever seen was like part of Episode 6. And all I remembered was like this weird slug guy sitting on a throne. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And so for years I was like, I don't like Star Wars. I don't get it. This is really dumb.
Yeah.
Then COVID happened.
About right.
Okay.
We're stuck at home watching Star Wars.
And then we're stuck at home, and Alpha had watched Star Wars
I need my serenity now, but
Alpha had watched Star Wars growing up, and it was one of those things that she was like, it was all the nostalgia for her because her mom made it like a big deal to watch it, even though it wasn't like, oh, we love this. It was like, you girls need to see this because this is such a big cultural thing.
That's kind of cool.
And so they watched it. And so when COVID happened, and what else are we going to do? So we stayed up all night watching it with the boys.
Yeah.
And so that apparently was the topic of the Hangover.
That's great. So I just want to know, Dallas, what do you think?
I've said we've had this conversation.
I don't remember it though.
Episodes 4, 5, and 6.
And we've not had this conversation.
Yeah, we have. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 are great. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 should die in a dumpster fire. They were so bad I wouldn't even watch episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, so you haven't seen 7, 8, 9?
No, because 1, 2, and 3 were so bad I don't even want to give them a shot.
So I think the story arc could be like iffy on 7, 8, 9, but the graphics are way better.
I don't care if
7, 8, 9.
Here's my thing. It was the acting in 1, 2, and 3. It's like the worst acting in a movie ever.
In 1, 2, and 3.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Not the original trilogy. Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
I would say that.
Why did he do that?
The writing.
What?
Well, the writing is always.
George Lucas, he created this story and then only told part of the story and like.
Because it sold so much money because he did that. Because if he had made one, he couldn't make.
But they weren't 4, 5, and 6 till 1 came out.
Okay. It was Star Wars
because it wasn't 1, 2, and 3.
It wasn't even a New
episodes.
Hope.
It was just the
Star
names.
Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The first one was just Star Wars, and then he went back and named it.
But then he was like, "Oh, his words were graphics caught up." That was what he said whenever he did it. Like I stopped making Star Wars movies because the graphics were so bad. Graphics caught up to me now, but really what he was saying was all of the people who were like young in 1976 now have kids, or whatever year Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
They now have kids, and they'll take them all to see it.
Yeah. Because the graphics, had they caught up? No.
Well, they might have if you were sitting in the theater in 2000.
Actually,
but here's the
Aaron
thing,
said
though.
that they do like for that time when it was released, it was like, whoa, this is insane.
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they invented a lot of those graphics.
But
I mean, that was the testing ground for so much of that.
But today, 20 whatever years later, the graphics in the original trilogy are way better than 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Because the original trilogy were real
things, real spaceships.
Real is always better.
Yeah. Which, man, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Do you remember when we used to green screen?
Movies now
terrible.
Nowadays just look like video games. They look like video game cutscenes. Movies do. Like that's just what they
not
look
the movies
like.
I watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
my Hallmark movies.
Not your, that's literally
those are all real.
Yeah,
romantic
they're all shot in Canada.
Yeah, they don't have any VFX designers in there. Okay, were you going to say something about this?
No, I just wanted to know what he thought.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was my whole...
And I wish I was a part of
We've
that.
had this conversation because I crushed your childhood because I hate 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
which I don't. I mean, I don't love Jar Jar Binks, but
no, who does?
Yeah,
dude. It's not just Jar Jar Binks, though. It's like the whole cast.
I think the thing that I think part of it is that I was a kid.
Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong in the comments.
Oh yeah,
I will die on this hill.
I mean, they're kids' movies.
They're not.
Words. They are.
They are not. Dude,
if you don't think that they're kids' movies, you're watching them with the wrong expectations.
Well, no, I was watching them with the expectations that people wouldn't. So the original trilogy, you have all these like stage actors, right?
Yeah.
And so they're stage actors overact in a positive way on the stage.
Yeah.
Like you have to overact when you're on the stage.
Yeah.
That translated to the movie as people who overact, but it was like permissible because of who was like. No one's going to tell James Earl Jones, "Wow, you're doing a really bad job." You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to do that.
They would have back then. He was nothing back then.
I don't know, but so then you get to episodes 1, 2, and 3, and you have the guy who's playing Darth Vader, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen.
Right.
Prowse.
Who's
no, you're talking. Original Darth Vader his last name is Prowse. I don't remember his first name.
But anyways. But you have the guy who's playing him, trying to act like James Earl Jones, overacting as, you know what I mean, like whatever. So
yeah,
it's a bad cycle.
Yeah, did you know that James Earl Jones was not in the suit? That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You didn't know that?
No, I did know that. I'm trying to tell you that.
Yeah, no, we knew that.
We knew that.
Man, what a terrible situation.
Yeah. He's like, no.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that story's crazy. But we talk about this because yesterday was May the 4th.
Yeah, and I don't care.
And it's my favorite holiday of the year.
So
it's up there.
So
top 3 for sure.
I was laughing yesterday because I just thought
I get gifts for my birthday, so you know.
Your birthday's not a holiday.
It is for me. It's my holiday.
So I was laughing because the whole time I was thinking of somebody saying "May the Force be with you" with a lisp.
With a lisp.
I can't do it.
It's like Mike Tyson saying, "May the 4th be with you."
You got Mickey Mouse. We got Mike Tyson.
So good.
Who's next? Yeah. So
I'm just kidding, Mike. Don't bite me ear off.
Let's hear a Yoda. Let's hear it. You got a Yoda?
I can't. I don't have a Yoda.
Oh,
I have a Chewbacca.
Man, wow.
I got a Chewie.
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No?
My dad's got a good Yoda.
Oh,
my dad can do a good Yoda.
He's got a good Swedish chef too.
Yeah.
Sound weird? He will.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. So we're talking about cheat codes today.
What's the cheat code? What is a cheat code,
you can't talk
Joey?
About video games and okay.
Okay, because this was my 2 questions we got asked repeatedly yesterday. First of all, I can't figure out what a Chico's is.
Yeah. What is Chico's?
And so there were a bunch of ladies of a certain age who were excited to go shopping in Hisserman yesterday. Yes. And then the other one was, what is a cheat code? Yeah, I've never even heard of a cheat code.
You heard that?
I'm young, and sometimes when you're young
oversight
and growing as a preacher, you don't think of all the perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, you get dialed in, and so a cheat code is
Chico.
There you go.
I heard it.
Holy late reaction, Batman.
Cheat.
No,
cheat
you just said
code.
Cheat code. Yeah,
you said a Chico, and I was like, oh, that's why they were confused because I didn't hear it.
It does sound similar, but if you look up on the screen and you see Power Up and you've played a video game,
sure,
and you know, but not everybody in the audience has played a video game.
That's facts.
Yeah, so
or at least not that kind of a video game.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we
got a few Pongs out
If you stopped at Pong and Pac-Man, you didn't have a cheat code.
Pac-Man.
You didn't know it if you were playing in a Pac-Man on a machine in the 60s. You didn't know there was a cheat code.
That's true. Yeah, because apparently
or 70s, whatever that would have been.
Yeah. So, anyways, so a cheat code, as Dallas explained yesterday, standing next to me, it's self-explanatory in the name. You use a code that allows you to cheat in a video game. Yeah.
It's a life hack.
Except for they were made by the developers, which is great.
They were like Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Easter eggs.
And like the Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those were
There's
really
some great
awesome.
Easter eggs in Super Mario Brothers, which is why that's like the best, you know.
Yeah.
So cool.
Era video game.
But they're amazing. Like they're so fun and so I will say though, nowadays like cheat codes don't really exist. like they don't really. Like, and that was kind of what I was.
No, they do.
I
it's
alluded
your dollars.
to it.
It's your dollars.
Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm. It's pay to win, is what.
That's money. But
my kids will talk about glitches. I found this glitch that whatever.
Yeah.
So they do exist.
Minecraft,
but those are older
like
games.
Are they? I feel like they're not always.
I think Minecraft had some glitches that people were finding, like if you do this, and this.
Yeah, there are a few.
But it's sandbox, so
and I would say Minecraft is probably the closest thing to that, because there is, like, you type in / and you do a command, but you can, and it's called cheats. Like, it's just called cheat commands.
Activate cheats is your setting.
Yeah, that's the setting. That's turn that off or on. So, like, and that's what I said. Like, I alluded to it. Like that's what it, and that's what it was for me. Of like, /creative or /give, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but then, like, there were also, like,
we're choppy.
I loved.
I'm seeing it. I can't fix it.
Okay.
What was I talking about?
Cheat codes you loved.
I loved Lego Star Wars, and I wish I had more time to talk about this.
The video game or the toys?
Dude, the video game.
Okay, sorry.
I'm
old
enough. May the 4th and
the
cheat codes in one.
That was the sermon, like, because happy Star Wars.
But it wasn't the sermon. He didn't talk about Lego Star Wars. He talked about how he cried after he lost his Pokemon.
No,
like his fake digital dolls.
Somebody wasn't paying attention, because I mentioned it at the very beginning of the sermon.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
And I talked about how cheat codes for me
must have been not memorable if we both forgot it.
Well, I was walking off stage.
It was embedded in the pause menu in Lego Star Wars, and then I said, because happy Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you.
I heard that sentence.
Yeah, that was like the sentence before, because everybody in that room laughed at the fact that I said, may the 4th be with you all.
Yeah.
And then you said, Thally told Thethels by the Theshore.
Dude, there's a lot of persistence and prayer and powerful. And there were a few moments where I was like, which B word am I saying right now?
Okay, so in addition to questions about cheat codes, we got another question.
Yeah, we do
today.
we got a big question.
It's a big question, and it's really important.
Yeah, so it came to me yesterday. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How does Joey play video games? He only has 4 fingers.
So today I brought a special prop.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
So I want you to
show us. This is an Xbox controller.
This is mine. I have one just like yours.
Okay, watch this, y'all.
This is
I'm looks
blown
like your
away
own
right now. So I play. First of all,
he's blown away because there was some pre-planning in the Hangover today.
Yeah, and you guys were on it. You guys were on it.
We were in on it.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So you can already tell. Like, I'm just like gravitating. I play Xbox at home. Like, I'm an Xbox gamer. If I play on my computer, I will use a keyboard, or I'll use an Xbox controller that looks just like. I could have sworn you stole mine. This is what mine
wouldn't that have been great?
That would have been awesome.
That would have been really funny. Yeah. So anyways, so I do that because as you can kind of see, the left joystick is higher. Sorry, there's like a mirror image, and I'm trying to. my brain is hurting. So the left joystick is closer to the top, which is because normally you'd have that thumb there, right? So so I play it like this. People call it.
So how's that
claw?
How's that go to your Game Boy?
The Game Boy, it's kind of the same. Game Boy, I almost brought it up here.
I figured for sure it'd be in your pocket.
It's downstairs. I won't go get it. It's fine. It's fine. I won't go get it.
It's not that important.
I want to, but
the people don't need to know that bad.
So on a Game Boy, there's like a D-pad, which is just like a. I have to explain everything because not everybody knows. Yeah. So a D-pad is this thing right here where it's just up, down,
directional
left, and right.
pad.
Whoa. That's what that stands for. Okay.
Did you not know?
No, I had no clue.
I was talking to my kids the other day, and I was like, the D-pad. I don't know why they call it a D-pad.
Directional pad.
That's where we're at. Like, he was
up,
around
down, left,
term.
right. These are directions.
He was around when that was invented, and we have just been calling that because that's
thing.
what everybody else does.
It's the plus thing. I don't know.
So anyways, so that's like more off to the left. I will say, okay, this is the thing that people.
They
don't
probably
think about.
did have to market it as directional pad when I was a kid because we went from joysticks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we went from joysticks and people were probably like, how do I get it to move? They're like, oh, you use the directional pad.
Wow.
That's like selling computers in the 90s.
Yeah.
They're like, see, we've got a central processing unit.
It's like when they called the Mac the Macintosh.
Yeah. We have a Macintosh with a central processing unit.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
So how do you do the triggers?
The triggers, I guess my middle finger.
Both up, like bumper and. I guess I do that.
You use two.
No,
Some people are crazy.
I
They
don't.
use two fingers.
I just use one.
And that's like weird. Like like when
Yeah.
you play Rocket League, the pros, dude, they have two fingers on these. One for.
Have you ever looked up claw hand? Like that's a thing too,
like,
right?
So that's what this is technically, because some people just don't use their thumbs.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. Like.
Weird.
And
Yeah.
so they play like this, and I guess I technically do a hybrid.
Are you impressed? I know claw hand.
Well,
You
I
should
don't
be
even know what
impressed
claw
by
hand
that.
is.
I should.
Yeah, I
You've
mean,
been playing
look at
video
me.
games for far longer than
But
I have.
nobody did that when I was a kid. We had three
That's true.
buttons. We had a D-pad,
true.
A and B.
They did go like this though.
Yeah.
So you punch as hard as you could and punch out.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. So what was I? Oh, the thing that people don't think about though is that this finger gets numb.
Oh.
Like it falls asleep because it's like sometimes constricting weird ways, and like it's pressing hard on the
so
side of the finger, which it's not really meant to do. And so like my whole left side will get numb. And so like I have to literally pause the game and just go.
You're gonna get like
All right.
carpal pointer finger roll.
I'm gonna get carpal tunnel just for playing video games. It's a sad life I live.
So the person,
sad.
I don't know who asked this.
I have it so tough.
I don't know who asked this question, but I think they asked Dallas because they were like a little bit nervous.
They didn't want to ask you.
I can't
But
ask Joey.
For the record,
You can ask Joey.
Yeah, Joey.
We should post it on the church page
Uh,
and say, by the way, this is how Joey plays video
it's not that
games.
important.
We can send that to Aaron real quick.
Maybe I can post it on mine.
Yeah.
So-
there you go. That'll work.
Yeah,
That'd
so-
be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good content for your.
So just so you know, Joey's super secure in his 9 fingers. So
yeah.
yeah, not worried about it at
all
all.
9
And
of them.
He gives
I
his
appreciate
9
that about
fingers one thumb up.
Yeah. Somebody came up to me and said,
his one thumb up is
yes.
like might as well be ours.
Somebody came up to me.
Might as well
I think,
be 2.
Yeah, somebody came up to me and said, it's a good thing it's not a 5-week series. You'd be out of luck there. And I was like, yeah, we can't do a 10-week. That's for
10
sure.
week.
Yeah, you
I
can't
can't
count that
preach
high.
in a 10-week sermon
Yeah.
series. I can't
You'd
even
never
count
know.
that high.
Or we always
Yeah.
have to put you as like number 9, the first 9.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah,
we have
but
you
then-
preach the 10th sermon, then you can't go. 10th
Yeah.
sermon.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true.
This
yeah.
is the 10th,
So this is how
the
I play
10th
video.
week in the series.
So I don't play PlayStation. And I had growing up, because we did have PlayStation as
Yeah.
well. I had a Xbox adapted controller. So it was like a layout, and then you plugged it in, which is archaic to plug in a controller. But that's what
it
I
is.
had to
That's
do.
like old days.
But you can
Yeah.
still plug these in,
What am I, from the 70s?
and it's super fast.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's latency if
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, but
plugging it in is
Plugging it in
smooth.
is zero.
And I have an Xbox controller that plugs in.
this one does.
Well, yeah, it can plug in. Mine, the one I have, only plugs in.
Oh, yeah.
But it's kind of cool because I needed another one to play with people.
I'm not a
I
Xbox
just spent
person.
$30 and
I've never
instead of
really
50.
played Xbox games.
I like this controller a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know
The
if I've
feel.
even. Here, can I see it?
Yeah, just
Let me.
take it for a spin.
No, don't like it. Too
Don't
many
like
buttons.
it? Too many buttons. There's so many things that you can do.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
wild.
I don't want to like walk and look around at the
Just
same
wait
time.
till you play on a keyboard.
That's when I get lost.
I got Riley.
Mouse and keyboard goes crazy.
Yeah.
So just because we're on video games, I don't know
We're
if this is
on
gonna
it.
ever make it to the sermon, but
The sermon?
my
Oh wow,
Sermon's
these even,
already been preached.
these even
I
click.
understand. Yes,
Yeah.
it's very good.
That's
There's
weird.
So many buttons.
So
Too many buttons.
So like
This
my
one is
boys and I,
sometimes zoom or like an ability.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
or run fast.
Run fast. Jump high.
My boys and I play Minecraft, and Riley's around, and so I was like, "Hey, Riley, you want to play Minecraft?" And so she like hopped on, and the first couple times are always for a kid are always really rough, and so you teach them that like this is feet, this is eyes.
Yeah.
So like this is how you look, this is how you run, and so we ended up playing together, and it was pretty fun. It's just me and a 4-year-old playing Minecraft together, and then
That's the best time.
she was getting attacked by a zombie, and so I went full father mode.
Oh.
And I had to run and save
I'm
her.
gonna destroy the
Away
zombie.
from my daughter.
And like she's in like this little cave, and the zombie is
That's
just
so
attacking her in a
amazing.
corner, and I came in. And
I love
Did
that.
your
I think
Minecraft character go Steve as it ran towards her?
Nope.
I should have.
Oh, yeah, probably should.
I don't know what just happened there.
I was making fun of Minecraft.
Oh, okay,
okay. So I ran across like to get her because she's like, there's a zombie, and so I run and we end up killing the zombie, and I was just so proud. We killed our first zombie together. It was so good.
He shed a tear.
That's how my dad felt when I shot my first rabbit. I'm sure.
she slayed her first zombie. I'm so proud. So, anyways, it's a fun thing we do together.
That's the way my dad felt when we did our first oil change together.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, she's already been changing the oil.
Oh,
she changed the oil before she played video games.
There you go. And you got to get a little on your nose when you change it, right?
On purpose.
Dude.
You got to, right?
Yeah.
All right, we got.
You just rub the tire, rub your hands like this, and you're like, man, we got a whole lot of work.
Quit talking about car work.
Yeah, Joey had a rough weekend with his car.
Oh,
my
no.
gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So the sermon,
Okay.
what is the cheat code? Because the cheat code is like
it's praying.
Secret. Yeah.
Secret?
It was a secret word.
Was it?
And the point of the sermon was to figure out what a cheat code was for power up.
Yeah.
Let me say, I got a tangent. You kept saying unlock the power, and all I could hear you saying was unlock the power of wellness. The wellness formula.
Yes.
So unlock the power of prayer in your life. And but really.
Yeah, power up, level up your faith. Like there were a bunch of those words. Like it feels corny saying just like my Pokemon game.
No.
God wants you to restart your prayer life.
Was that in there verbatim?
That was
in.
So I'm gonna be honest. I took it out of.
I don't blame you.
Third service because I was like, I cannot say this for a third time today. Oh man,
the Pokemon game illustration was hilarious,
dude.
You said Gen 2, and I was like, I barely know what Gen 2 means.
So it was my opportunity to nerd out, and I knew that most of the room was just like, I just saw glazed looks. And I honestly, I loved it.
You got the information we needed in there. You put in the wrong code, and you lost everything.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was the whole thing. Like I still had an opportunity to talk about some nerdy stuff that nobody's gonna get, and that was fine. Like I was okay with that. But hey, what are you gonna watch the live stream?
No, I'm gonna post the link for them.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so yeah, that was great. But yeah, it was disheartening. And even today, like me and my friend Caleb met and
you came to my office and told me about it.
I did. It was
you needed prayer.
It ruined my day. It ruined my day because here's the thing, like there's so many layers to this story.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is the second game we've played.
Right.
Right. In the first game, it was also a horrible run.
Yeah.
Like I picked up my save from like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I had been missing like everything. Like I made mistakes in that game that I was just like, what am I doing? Like I'm being dumb. Like I released like.
That's how I would play it. I wouldn't know what to do.
I'm about to get really nerdy again, but I'm like released like legendary Pokemon. I used the Master Ball. You know what? You might know what I'm talking about. I used the Master Ball on a legendary bird.
This conversation is going to hit with like 2 people.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few students out there who know exactly what I'm talking about.
They'll be like a Master Ball.
I released
legendary bird
Zapdos,
Pokemon?
who I wanted to use in my team because we're trying to fight each other.
You probably used it like on a Squirtle.
Yeah. I think I used it on
or
Zapdos.
Eevee.
And then I released Zapdos into the wild. So I didn't even I was like, where
that was a waste
this?
of a Master Ball.
Where is this? And then I also I guess failed catching Articuno. So it was just like it was terrible.
You guys still with us?
I also taught all the wrong moves to my starter Pokemon.
Y'all wake me up when this part's over.
So it was horrible, right? and I started this new game. Like I'm gonna turn my life around.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be.
And then he lost it all.
And then I lost it all.
Oh man.
So now I'm just trying to.
And then he came to my office bawling. It was great.
It was horrible, dude.
Yeah. There was snot. It was horrible.
Every part of that story was real. Like every part. And
man,
and I get it.
Yeah.
It was a hard transition, but it needed to happen. Like. Man, that story was.
But then I'm emotional.
You
started from the beginning, and you're overcoming.
Yeah.
You're overcoming.
I'm slowly. Like it still hasn't happened yet.
Apparently took you 20 hours.
Dude.
So,
Yeah,
so
I was
think,
halfway through the game.
and I think that this is maybe a mentality shift. I don't.
Yeah, let's get deep again.
I don't. No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I don't know that I've ever played a video game with the desire to beat the video game. I only enjoy video games where I can beat you.
Dude. So that's why we're
You know
playing
what I
this
mean?
game, for the record. We're playing this game so that me and Caleb can get our Pokemon and battle each other.
Okay.
So we're going to beat the game as a part of that process. However, nowadays, there are so many games out there that you don't beat. I mean, there have always been, right?
Yeah.
But like,
It used to be the thing was like, see if you can beat the game.
Yeah.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
you want to beat Pac-Man, right? There is an end to that game.
No, I will never
it's
beat
really hard,
Pac-Man.
but-
Yeah, that'll
right?
never happen.
Like you want to increase your score, but I guess to an extent, like there have always been but so many games like just exist to grind to get more cosmetics. Like that's the model.
Well, yeah,
that we've
because
changed.
especially now
Spec-
where you can get. I mean, you look at Fortnite, right?
yeah,
And
that's
Fortnite's
what
free.
Yeah, exactly.
And people buy clothes for their fake digital dolls to give them money.
yeah, so there's no like multi,
it works.
And it
it's
works.
Just
Man, I don't know how.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like-
I know how. I've got kids.
My kids don't know about that yet.
And
Yeah.
I play those games like I play Fortnite sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'll get into a mode where I play it, but for the most part, like I enjoy story games that have an end.
Yeah.
Like I like beating a game.
Yeah.
Like I like paying money for a game, or not, because there's subscription services for games now, by the way, which is awesome. So I like starting a game and then finishing it.
Yeah.
And then I can move on from
Which
it. Like, I
Pokemon
can
is
let it
very
go.
much like that.
Yes.
You beat
Yeah.
like 8 gym leaders.
And that's what Justice does. Like Justice will buy a game and then he'll beat the game and then he'll sell it on Facebook Marketplace.
Dude.
Like
yeah.
that's his move.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go.
I had a friend when I was growing up who liked video games, but his parents were pretty, maybe not strict, but like they didn't want to spend tons of money on games. So they were like, when you beat this game, then we'll buy you another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the deal. And I was like, I don't know. I have 10
Dude,
games that I have
a
never
massive
beaten.
game list.
So-
So anyways,
So, but yeah, going back to the sermon, the cheat code though is connecting with God through prayer. That's the cheat
Yeah,
code.
yeah.
And I love the fact that you addressed you are sometimes going to pray for things that are outside of God's will. Like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
The more
And that's
time,
okay.
and that's okay. You're still communicating with Him. Like
Yeah.
God wants your desires as much as He wants your alignment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
I kind of danced around this idea that calling prayer a cheat code to an extent feels unfair.
It does.
Right? Because prayer isn't necessarily about the cheat code.
Yeah.
Right? And we see that in the way that Jesus prays and
Yeah.
the things that he prays for and the ways that he communicates to people.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's something deeper that happens when you pray in a real way.
Yeah.
You know, in this, it was very much an emotional, like this is a tool that you can use to give yourself strength.
The sermon wasn't like this at all, but we ended up in our life group last night talking about how some people, there were a couple guys in the New Testament who were like, tell me the right words to say,
Yeah.
so that I can harness the power of
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
prayer.
Which is like
How can I be convincing to God?
Which is why Jesus said, like, if you use a lot of words, like, you know what I mean? Like the babblers do,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
So
that's what your prayer is.
So that would be at the essence, like if
Yeah.
it was merely a cheat code, we could figure out eventually
Yeah.
we would figure it out, I assume. We would figure out some of the special words that we could say
Yeah.
that would harness God as our like
Yeah.
genie, you know?
Mhm.
But it's not like that. And so I don't think your sermon reflected that in
No.
in
Yeah.
a way that
Yeah.
was like, just do these right things and then everything
Yeah.
will be fine.
Yeah.
It's more, place your trust in God and commune with him often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a few elements here, and there were some elements that I didn't have time to talk about.
No, you don't.
Right? Like
Yeah,
there's
25 minutes is
so
25
much.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's so much, and I wanted to talk about, like, I ended up just settling on those two
Yeah.
of like, one, pray real, pray honestly,
Yep.
and two, pray through it. right? Rather than just praying for something, because that's like, we do that a lot, right? We say, I'll pray for you, and we pray for somebody once, and we move on, right? Like, but rather than that, like praying through the situation, and praying until the other side, there's something like powerful in that. And the book, I read a book, I've been reading a book to kind of influence that, which is, it's called Circle Maker by Mark Batterson.
Yeah, I know the book.
Dude, wow.
It's good.
It's just really, it's a book filled with stories of prayer.
Yeah.
And there's this guy who literally, like, there's a drought and people are starting to die, and so they ask him, because he's known for good prayer, and so he just walks in a circle.
Right.
He just walks into a circle, and then it starts sprinkling, right? And he's like, nope, this is not what I prayed for. And so he literally prays through to the rain, and then there's too much rain, and he's like, nope, still not what I prayed for. So it's really cool to just like pray, because sometimes we'll either get one like sign of maybe it's starting to come true, or like I heard some people say in group, like a new perspective or something, like, and I just let it go. But like praying through the entire way, there's power in that, and there's like it does make a difference.
We came across, which this is something that maybe is like opening the transparent, like behind the curtain type of situation. Like I hadn't heard of kind of people say, it's not totally name it, claim it, but almost in that zone. But just learned about this just at Life Group, because some people were talking about it. But like it's a movement called Words of Faith. Do you know about this? It's like basically like if you're in a group and you're praying with, which this probably isn't the total thing, you should look it up and figure out what it is for yourself. But just as far as I understand it from what we talked about yesterday, it's basically if the three of us had a person with us and we were praying for their like broken leg to be healed, and that person's leg wasn't healed, it was because one of us didn't believe enough,
which is ridiculous,
which is very dangerous. And so
it's ridiculous.
I believe it's called Words of Faith
as
a movement possibly, but
there's a lot of movements, there's a lot of that exists out there, especially movements that do healing, where it's like either you or the person you were praying for or whatever, like they just didn't have the faith to whatever. And it's like, okay, but like, then why do we still die though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, can you pray for my glasses? Like, because I don't really like wearing glasses.
Yeah, it's worst.
But
I'll just pray that contacts fall into your eyes.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I could do that, I guess.
Yeah. It's such a dangerous thing for people. If I had enough faith, no, like that is so bogus. I'll be honest with you. I changed this in myself a couple of years ago. I will pray for God to heal things, like for God to heal. And I'll pray with people for God to heal them, in knowing that he could, right? Like that's the faith I think it takes for that to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But, that doesn't mean he's going to. Like God doesn't sit at my whims.
Yeah. I think like the final thing is that God's ways are higher than our ways.
Yeah.
And so to me, it almost felt like, parallel with like works righteousness. Like it's something that I do, and if I don't do, then
I mean, tell my kids who prayed for my mom's cancer to be healed, right? Well, you just didn't have enough faith. No, baloney.
And that's the thing of like where does it take more faith, right?
Yeah,
to pray and pray and pray and get something, or to pray and pray and pray, not get it, and still believe that God is good.
Dude,
that's faith.
I think that's kind of the crux of this whole conversation.
Of like, faith is not proven in the result of your prayer. Right? Faith is proven in the prayer. Right? In the, and that's like I think my favorite line, a favorite moment of the sermon yesterday for me personally is that persistent prayer is not giving up the belief. It's not about pestering God until he gives you what you want. Yeah, it's about not giving up the belief that God is good.
Yeah, because I think
that's good.
I think the thing to keep in mind, the story of the widow, right, going before the unjust judge, is to remember the widow was praying for something that was just too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she her request was granted because this unjust judge couldn't shake this woman who was asking for the just thing. And then Jesus is like, and you have a just Father, like you have a just God. And, and you might have to be persistent, maybe because you're waiting on his timing. Like you might have to be persistent. Be persistent.
I think an important part of prayer too is aligning ourselves with God's will.
Yeah.
And I know that that could look a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
But if you aren't aligned with his will and you're praying for something like healing, like if that's not his will, then it's not his will.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pray.
Right. Correct.
Right. And so like that was the thing that was like that I tried to kind of dance with of like James does say like that if you are like these prayers that you're praying don't like come true because you're not praying in God's will. It's not God's will for your life. And that could have been, I mean, Lord knows what those prayers could have been about. Like,
right.
It could have been anywhere from any sorts of wickedness or not, or to down to just like, I just want this in my life. Right. But that doesn't mean like if that's where your heart is, right? There's power in a broken prayer. I mean, we see that in Jesus. Yeah. Right. Like it feels weird to an extent, like to talk about Jesus praying a broken prayer.
Yeah, when I heard that, my mind went, wait a minute, what? And then I thought about it. I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from here. Like Jesus's humanity was praying for the cross not to be there. Yeah. Or for there to be another method for this to happen, which I totally totally get what you're coming from there. And I think that's so normal for us to have that reaction of like I can even when you can see God's will unfolding to be like, but like, isn't there another way?
Yeah. So and you could tell that he knew that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Right. Like he knew that this was not going to be the way, and which is why he clarifies it. But that doesn't mean he doesn't still bring it before the Father.
Yeah. I don't know if his head and his heart were separated in that moment, but I know that sometimes my head and my heart are not aligned. And sometimes I'm like, I feel that it's what I want, but I know in my intellect that it's either shouldn't be or,
or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes like you think something's wrong or you've got all these reasons not to do something and your heart is just like, man, no, God is calling you to. Like there is that separation sometimes and like praying through that to the other side.
Sometimes you don't have the time to do this, but like I think one of my favorite things to do is just to be like, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens and being patient and trying to rest in God's time is an important thing that like I don't think you'll ever be penalized for that. And if you miss an opportunity, then maybe maybe that was it's almost like driving in a car. Yeah. When you first learn to drive, something, maybe my dad told me this, but my mom or dad just said, don't, like, you may not be ready to move and turn because it could be dangerous. And so even if the person behind you is honking at you and they feel like that you have enough space to move or whatever, but you don't feel like you can, don't go. Yeah. And so sometimes I'll remember that, if there's a huge line behind me, but it's just not safe, then I wait. And I like assess the situation that way. Yeah. And I think that can happen sometimes in our listening to God, trying to make sure that he's saying, yes, this is what you should be doing. Yeah. And so, it's really good.
Speaking of waiting, we probably have some people who are waiting on us right now.
Yeah, they probably are. What a good segue.
It's been really good to hang out with you guys a little bit. Hopefully we've opened the curtain a bit.
This was a fun sermon to preach. Yeah. I'll say.
Yeah. One more week of the series.
It was like sipping a milkshake through a little tiny straw, but this is a really fun theme. It's corny.
Oh yeah.
It's so corny.
So go out and grab your Game Boy with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Red in it.
Go play, dude. I modded that. I'm serious, Zach. You should mod your Game Boy.
I'm still considering.
I'll help you with it. Okay.
I'll talk to you about it after this.
Okay. Sounds
all right.
good.
All right, y'all.
See you guys.
See you guys later.
Bye.